Okay, good afternoon once again, folks. We're here with Taproot Live. This is our official second live broadcast, the other one coming a bit earlier this morning. And today we are honored to bring a special guest on with us who will be on momentarily, Mr. Pat McGeehan, who is a current delegate in the West Virginia state government. And that's pretty much what I have right now. So I'm going to turn it over to Marshall and let him say a few words while we're waiting for Pat to come on. We thank you guys for
Thanks,
tuning
Todd.
in. And yep.
Thanks, Todd. First of all, I'm really grateful for those of you who are tuning in. Secondly, I'm grateful to you, Todd, for making this possible, and also to Jazzy at Premier Podcast Promotions, who has taught us how to do this and who's with us the whole way and helps us to get our recorded podcast archived and online. So Pat McGeehan, Delegate Patrick McGeehan from the 1st District of West Virginia, which is way up at the tip of the northern panhandle, is a former Air Force intelligence officer. He's a graduate of the Air Force Academy. He is currently a candidate for a PhD in philosophy at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. One of the brightest men I've ever known. One of the few men who has ever looked me dead in the eye, told me I was wrong, and then proved to me that I was wrong, and taught me a lot. And the specific topic on which he proved to me that I was wrong is the topic of our discussion today, and that is federalism versus anti-federalism. Now, Pat made me see this in a whole new way. We were delegates serving together, and we were having a discussion about the meaning, the purpose of government. And as a guy who had taken an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, at the age of 17, and then all these years have taken at various times since then. When I was commissioned, when I re-entered active service, as a delegate, I took that oath. I was adamant that the Constitution was, well, nigh on infallible, and I was wrong. It's a document made by men. Now, what is infallible is the principles behind it, which the Constitution was founded to uphold, to rise to the level of those principles. And of course, there's a lot of compromise in the Constitution. What I would say now, having been set on this path by that discussion with Delegate Patrick McGeehan 6 or 7 years ago, what I would say now is that it's actually a pragmatic attempt to build a government that lives up to those principles. And of course, we've had some issues with it, such as, the Great Compromise and various other issues. And one of the things that I would really like to get into with Delegate McGeehan today in our discussion is his perspective on the anti-federalist arguments. The thing is that if we really look at these, we can see that some of these have actually proven out over the years. That the anti-federalists said, well, if you centralize that much power, you'll have these issues. And of course, the people of the day voted to ratify the U.S. Constitution and didn't take, in my estimation, didn't take all of the anti-federalist arguments as well or as seriously as they should have. And that's allowed us to have some of the issues that we have today. Now, some of those discussions, some of those ideas that were raised by the anti-federalists were actually incorporated into the Constitution. So I'm really looking forward to having this discussion with Patrick. You guys know that I absolutely will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. I will take a bullet to the face to uphold the Constitution. I spent 20 years in the U.S. Army Infantry. I'm a combat veteran. And I will always, always, always uphold my oath, keeping in mind that Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution tells us how to go through the procedure of updating the Constitution. It is not a living document, as you'll hear many progressives say. It's not a living document. However, the founders saw that we might need to update it at certain points. What do we mean by updating? Well, there are 27 existing amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Some of them are fantastic. Some of them are really bad. And that's something else I'd like to discuss with Pat when he gets on here in just a minute. For instance, of course, the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments were actually required by some of they were a requirement for the ratification of the Constitution itself. In other words, this Bill of Rights had to be added to the Constitution for the Constitution to be ratified. And a lot of that is a result of specific anti-federalist arguments. Now, we've had some other amendments that aren't so great. The 16th and 17th gave us the federal income tax, which, as far as I'm concerned, is absolutely unconstitutional until it actually was added to the Constitution. But it's still against the principles upon which the Constitution was founded. So what we're getting at here is that although you cannot say that the federal income tax is unconstitutional, because it is literally a part of the Constitution when the amendment became a part of the Constitution when the amendment was made, it still runs counter to all of the principles upon which the Constitution was founded. So we're going to get into those discussions. Todd, I've been running my mouth. What are your thoughts on this as we're getting ready for Patrick to join us?
No, I think that's fantastic information, Marshall. I met Pat when probably about the same time I met you, and definitely an engaging individual to speak with. Has a lot of knowledge about some really amazing topics, and just a great guy to talk with. And so I look forward to having him on as well, and all of our guests. And certainly for the listeners out there, if you guys have suggestions on people that we might have on, whether it's people or acquainted with, or someone that you would like to refer to Taproot, we would love to host them. Just let us know. Today, in our earlier live stream, we talked about some of the things that we plan for the near future with Taproot. We're using a new platform today called StreamYard, and it allows us to multicast to different platforms at the same time. It makes it really simple to use, to have guests on as well, and hopefully gives us some professionalism. Marshall and I both take this seriously. It's something that we really enjoy doing, and we both like just engaging with people. So we depend on you folks to help us get this out there. Really, none of this is possible without the fan base and the groups that we have that come and watch our podcast or listen to our podcast. And so I can't overemphasize the importance of the people who follow us. So we thank you for being here. And yeah, Marshall, do you have any word from Pat?
Yeah, actually, I've been discussing this with him. He said that due to technical issues on his end, he can't get online right now, but that at 12 he will be ready to go. He's downloading downloading something onto his laptop so that he can engage with us here. He needs about 45 minutes. So if we can, I'd like to postpone this live stream until noon, because we really need to hear what Pat McGeehan has to say, and he's willing to be here with us, so we need to accommodate that. I know that's disappointing. I hope that our friends can come back and listen at 12 or watch at 12, but we will be back here at 12. Travis, that's a very good point. The framers knew there would be exploitation. When I teach my classes, I say that the two basic principles that upon which all else that became the United States of America was founded are: all men are created equal, all men are corrupt. And we can get into that later. Let's go ahead and sign off for now. Come back at noon with Patrick McGeehan. And I agree with that too, Travis. We can discuss that as well. Thank you for bringing it up. I hope you, Travis, can be back at noon to have this discussion with Pat McGeehan.
Yep. Sorry to cut things short. And
my apologies.
No, it's yeah. Just like we mentioned earlier, things happen. Yes, Barb says keep and post this short video. We're trying to keep everything, so even the live streams that we do are recorded and should be available later on Facebook, the Taproot Podcast fan Facebook page, and the YouTube page as well. So sorry for the inconvenience. Hope you guys can tune back in about 45 minutes from now. when we hope to have Pat on, and we will continue our discussion.
All right. Thank you all. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, guys.